What's happening, guys? Welcome to my channel. As you guys know, this is where I share paranormal stories. Tonight we are taking a look at a Reddit post that was posted by a user. Now this story has over 32,000 upvotes and 1,000 comments. So let's see what Reddit users had to say about this one. He was smiling in my baby monitor. The night before this happened, I had a dream about my baby dying. In the dream, I was holding him after he died, and his body was ice cold. I woke up in a panic attack, of course. But it was only when I got up to go to the bathroom that I realized I was soaking wet from head to toe. I told my husband about the dream and how I felt afterward, and he just laughed it off as anxiety. We talked for a while and then went to bed again. When my son was born, we put his monitor in our room pointed at his bassinet. It wasn't anything fancy, just the basic one that came with the monitor. My husband and I sleep with our doors open because neither of us can sleep with a closed door. And our room is pretty big, so the monitor was far enough away that we couldn't hear it from the other side. The next morning, after my very intense nightmare, I got up to change my son, who was still sleeping soundly, by the way. As I picked him up, I noticed that the monitor had been knocked over sometime during the night. I was a little creeped out, but I just chalked it up to an overly active sleeper. Then I started to notice other strange things happening. Our lights would turn off or dim when no one was in the room. I would be sitting in the living room and hear the monitor's static for a split second and then back to normal. It was really unsettling. Then one evening, around 6:30 p.m., my husband and I were eating dinner in silence, watching TV, and suddenly the monitor turned on all by itself. We looked at each other and then at the monitor. For a moment, nothing showed except for the green power light in the front. Then my son turned his head to the side, and there was a smile on his face. Now, I don't mean like a cute little newborn smile either. This was a full-on, almost ear-to-ear grin. My husband and I screamed and ran out of the room. Once we calmed down a bit, we went back in to check on him, and he was fine. We changed his diaper and fed him, trying to get rid of the image of his smiling face burned into our minds. Once he was asleep, we turned the monitor off and went to bed ourselves. That night, as I was falling asleep, I could have sworn I heard my son giggling. I don't want to be too dramatic here, but it sounded exactly like a small child laughing right next to my ear. Of course, I woke up immediately and sat staring in the dark at the foot of the crib for a few minutes, listening intently. Then I heard a noise again, something hitting the side of the crib, followed by what sounded like muffled sobs. I screamed again, waking my husband up. This time we both listened intently. There was a scratching sound from the crib, followed by those same muffled cries. We didn't call the police because honestly we thought we were going crazy. The morning when we got up, we checked everywhere for bugs, checking under the crib and behind the dresser. We even took apart the monitor to check inside of it. Nothing. We haven't seen anything. Since then the monitor seems to be working properly. This experience freaked me out so much that I'm terrified to leave my son alone, even for a minute. I have major anxiety now. Am I crazy? Or is there something more to this story? So, I do believe this story. I think the baby was trying to communicate with her somehow. I feel like if a stranger broke into your house and they were messing with your baby monitor, that would be the first thing you would say, is somebody broke into my house and was messing with my baby monitor. Oh, you wouldn't just be like, well, I guess somebody messed with my baby monitor. You would be like, somebody broke into my house. So I feel like this lady is telling the truth. I really do. Now, as far as the baby goes, like, why was he smiling? Why did he smile at 6:30? Like he knew that she knew he was there. And when they left the room, he started crying. It's like, that's not possible. Babies can't do that. They don't have the capacity. So I think maybe the baby was trying to communicate with her. Maybe he was trying to tell her that something happened to him, like something bad happened to him. And maybe that's why she had that dream, because maybe he died in the middle of the night. And that's why she felt so cold when she went to the bathroom. Because babies, when they die, they get very cold. Or maybe the baby is possessed, I don't know. It's also weird how the monitor turned on by itself. And that's another thing that makes me think that she's telling the truth. How they found the monitor on, because you never hear these stories where the monitor turns on by itself, and then you see the baby, and the baby is dead. That's never part of the story. That's always. Oh yeah, and then the baby's smiling at me. But you never hear the part where the monitor turned on by itself. So this story is definitely creepy. And you know, you shouldn't be having dreams about your kid dying and then waking up soaking wet. Like, that's not normal. That's not normal at all. I've never experienced that before. I've never heard of anybody else experiencing that before. So that's kind of weird. If you hear those noises again, call the police, because that's scary. If you hear scratching and then muffled crying, call the police. Something's going on. Somebody or something's in there with him. Something's in that crib with him. Here's another comment from a user that I actually think is a little bit more realistic than others. It says, OPP, it sounds like you have a broken monitor. I've had this happen with several different cheap monitors over the years. They develop a sort of short circuit where they L randomly turn on and ULLC interference or the ghost of the previous screen. Sometimes, if you tap them gently, you can even make the interference go away temporarily. It sounds like your monitor may be getting moisture inside of it, which is probably causing the shorts. And I know this sounds insane, but this does happen. Just buy a new monitor and try not to worry. But then OP replied to this and said, thank you. I really hope that's all it is. But why would it have stopped after the first time and just started again yesterday? And why would it show a perfect image of my son's face grinning from ear to ear? Yeah, that's true. Why would it just show a perfect image of the baby smiling? It doesn't make any sense at all. I think there's definitely something more to this story. And also, when she said that the baby was probably communicating with her, some people replied to that and said, how? He's a baby. He doesn't know how to communicate. Well, I think he does. I really do. I think that baby knew that she knew that he was there. Like he knew that she was watching him through the monitor and he wanted to communicate with her. He wanted her to know something. Just don't know what that is. I'm glad that this baby was okay. I'm glad that OP updated the post and let us know that the baby was okay. Because this story is already scary. And if something actually happened to the baby, that would be even worse. So that is the story. Or he was smiling at my baby monitor. Do you guys believe this story? Do you think that the baby was just messing with the monitor? Or do you think there is something more to it? Let me know in the comments below. Also, if you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button. It really helps support me, and it helps the channel grow. Also, if you want to see more videos like this, then consider subscribing. I try to make paranormal videos as often as I can, so if you subscribe, you won't miss any of them. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you next time.